Homer will save a life. This will make him the captain of a group with endless budget, where Homer will control everything with excessive weaponry. What could possibly go wrong? The story begins with an eerie location, and we see a hero fighting trolls until a very strong one appears. This one is really overpowered. The fight is quite good, though the hero is cornered, so he decides to escape in a golden Pegasus and flies away. Wow, so cool. But it turns out, it's all Otto having a hallucination.
Dude, you shouldn't have let him eat that whole pan of acid brownies.
We move on to Springfield Elementary. School superintendent announces that Otto disappeared along with the school bus. Now, parents will have to take their kids to school, which nobody likes. Well, some wouldn't mind, as long as they could share rides. Apparently, that's not going to happen, so they decide the kids will walk to school. This way, no one will be bothered. But they still need one parent to act as the noble crossing guard. No one wants to, but Homer suddenly shouts, saying they can count on him, that he's been waiting his whole life for this moment, although in reality, he wasn't even paying attention.
You just volunteered.
The team comments that he clearly has some talent. We then cut to the Springfield nuclear plant, where Homer, furious, yells that now he has to wake up early to take those loser kids to school. He advises Lenny not to have kids.
Don't worry about that. See, I was born with...
Something goes wrong. It's a code blue. Everyone starts working frantically except Homer, who wastes time as usual. Apparently, they're very good at their jobs though. They work intensely. But then Homer notices something. His workstation says security console, meanwhile Lenny's says real security console. Fortunately, the workers manage to fix the issue. Homer tells them that since he's the head of security, they should have solved the problem using his console. Since he works so much, they thought they'd lighten his load. And besides, his outfit isn't exactly appropriate. That's when Homer realizes he's never really done anything for security, so he's never truly kept anyone safe. He's been living a lie. That night at home, still feeling sad, he tells his wife everything that happened, how for so long he thought he was important. She reassures him, saying he is important to her. They move on to other things.
Seems like your lightsaber doesn't want to go shroom. Did you go Han Solo earlier tonight?
But there's a problem. Homer yells that he's useless in every area of his life and all he wants is to sleep, although he'll have to wake up early for his crossing guard duties. The next day, the kids believe Otto is in jail because he was so irresponsible. They reach the first crossing, where Homer is stationed. Homer says it's time to help the little babies, even if it makes him look ridiculous, something his kids don't like at all. He yells at them that he deserves their respect, and then helps them cross, telling them that without him, they'd be stuck.
Got your octagonal sign!
No one respects Homer. They keep mocking him. Just then, little Ralph starts crossing, but Barney is driving without looking at the road. Things are about to go very badly, but Homer manages to save the boy.
My whole life just flashed through my pants!
They tell Homer he saved Ralph's life, and he even gets his picture in the newspaper. Now, Homer feels happy he saved a little dummy. The news announces that the last 2 endangered pandas have died, leaving none left. Then they introduce a new segment, reporting that the city's crossing guard, considered a useless job until a few days ago, saved a child's life. Homer says that they should give him new equipment because his chair is uncomfortable and the straps don't even work, but keeping the kids alive is already a reward for him.
God bless that saintly doughball.
Now the mayor will give crossing guards a juicy budget, but then a guy shows up saying it's his turn and they were doing some pretty indecent things with a bunch of people and chessboard. Wow, millionaires do be having the weirdest parties. The next day, Homer has tons of equipment. He even has enough money for full-time salaries, and Homer is named the crossing guard captain. When he gets home, his family tells him he looks very dashing, that the uniform makes him look handsome. Bart says people with badges are just oppressive pigs, though he only says that because a security guard caught him breaking the gum machine and punished him for it. Lisa, on the other hand, is very proud, saying there's no better job than serving the community.
You know what's even better? Volunteering for money!
They have a budget for 10 more guards, but he'll only hire the best and bravest. The next day, Homer tells the newbies that not all of them will survive the training.
Now look to your right. That concludes your training.
It was pretty easy. Chief Wiggum shows up, thanking Homer for saving his son's life. Homer responds that he was just doing his job, but if he ever needs anything, even if it's illegal, you can count on him. But since he didn't ask for permission to cross the 7 stripes, making Homer furious, he goes to scold Wiggum, telling him it's reckless to walk without permission. He orders him to step onto the sidewalk and keep those feet where he can see them.
I can't even see him.
Homer tells him just so he knows he runs the streets. He even steals Wiggum's glasses, leaving the poor chief angry.
Another curb kept safe by Captain Homer J. Simpson.
Homer has become a full-fledged boss, and Moe's Tavern has been renamed the Crossing Guard Tavern, where only crossing guards are allowed in. Even Lenny and Carl aren't allowed in. Principal Skinner shows up to ask why Homer hasn't been around. Homer snaps. Skinner reminds Homer that tomorrow is the science fair, bake sale, and picture day, so he needs to step up. Homer yells, "Don't tell me how to do my job," and orders his guys to throw Skinner out. He's gone mad with power. But he says he knows how to do his job. The situation becomes a school-wide disaster. Artie reports live on the chaos, saying the traffic jam at the school has turned into a total mess. Everyone expected the crossing guards to fix the situation, but they failed miserably. Homer pleads with everyone to calm down, but no one listens. It's absolute madness. Then Martin warns that a great disaster can happen.
Elephant toothpaste.
In the next scene, they tell Homer it's the worst disaster in Springfield's history and ask if he has anything to say in his defense. He thinks for a long time, trying to come up with someone to blame until he gets an idea. He blames it all on the inadequate budget for the poor crossing guards. Wow. He asks for more money to train, buy equipment, and ensure the children can cross the streets safely, even at 3 a.m. All the parents agree, though Chief Wiggum protests, shouting that Homer and his minions failed and that it's stupid to give them more money. His speech rallies everyone, and now the crossing guards have a blank check. They can ask for as many dollars as they want. Homer is thrilled. His plan worked. In the next scene, we see Homer dining out with his family, enjoying the budget surplus. Marge loves her husband's success, and even Bart shouts that he's become the mighty god of the crossing guards. Homer reminds him that Bart once said badges were for pigs. But then the bill arrives.
You charging me, Francine? Even though I keep your kids safe every morning?
Lisa points out that power and money are corrupting him, but Homer denies it. Suddenly, an epic montage begins, showing Homer's team working so hard it feels like an action movie. Homer has transformed into a crazed villain. The mayor comments that this guy is terror. Mayor comments that this guy keeps bothering the citizens to the point where they could even sue him because of his actions. Maybe they can decrease their budget a bit. Homer bursts in, yelling that his department doesn't have enough money and that he found out because he overheard it on the satellite he bought. The mayor tells him that his guards are now taking up nearly the entire city's budget and they have no choice but to reduce it by 1.5%. Even though that's almost nothing, Homer goes nuts, claiming that his guards are invincible. Next, a couple of kids mention that the nice man who usually helps them cross isn't there, but they'll do it on their own. Just then, Snake appears in his car. At that moment, we hear Homer's voice saying that this is the Springfield the mayor wants, that he and his cronies want to sabotage the streets, and that this man is terrible for the city and even worse for the country, all funded with the money the mayor gave them. Homer is truly a villain. This enrages him, and he says that no one messes with him and tells the chief to do whatever it takes to stop him. Meanwhile, Homer sees that his video has already gotten 1 million likes. He responds to Marge that nothing bad will happen, but just then, they throw his chair out the window. Homer laments, saying that chair was his best friend, and wonders who would be capable of doing such a thing. It turns out it was Chief Wiggum. Homer tells the guards and the police that they need to settle the matter and challenges them to go to the 6-way crossing.
Well, I thought cops only showed up after something bad happens.
The next day, things get really intense. The chief shouts that he's sick of them, that they act like police, but they're just crossing guards. Just then, immigration officers arrive, as well as TSA agents and traffic officers. All the forces of the United States are there, ready to face off in a showdown. They think they're keeping the country safe, Homer adds.
Oh! Why?
Suddenly, Otto runs him over. Unfortunately, everyone celebrates this. A while later, we see that Homer is in pretty bad shape. Lisa tells him that power made him do bad things. When they became a group, they turned into an army, searching for an enemy.
If the only tool you have is a hammer, then everything starts to look like a nail.
Homer feels very sad. Suddenly, he sees his family as nails, and he is the hammer. So this is what happens when Homer becomes the law, but what if it were the opposite, like Homer going to prison? If you want to see what happens, click on this video next, but not before leaving your like and subscription.